Guys, Adam from Simplifying the State here. So listen, I just wanted to get on here real quick and do a kind of rapid response short form video similar to what I did last time, because this really can't wait till the next podcast episode. So just very breaking news here. The United States has struck 3 nuclear sites within Iran using B-2 stealth bombers. This happened just a little over half an hour ago. So we used the B-2 stealth bomber, which is our most advanced bomber. We used bunker buster bombs to penetrate deep into the mountain where the Fordo uranium enrichment facility is. That was the location that Israel could not really reach without U.S. Weapons. We also bombed targets in Nantes and Ifsan. I'm not sure if that's how you pronounce that, but that's how I think it's pronounced. So it seems though as now the United States is possibly at war with Iran. I guess we'll have to wait and see what Iran does, because the ball is basically in their court now. President Trump plans to address the United States at about 10 o'clock. I think that's Eastern time. So we'll have to wait and see what he says about that. But just a real quick, so we'll do a political kind of analysis, and then we'll do what this could mean for the region. So politically, this was probably not a good idea. This was a very unpopular thing for him to do. Most people in the United States were against strikes in Iran. Most Democrats, most Republicans, most independents, barely 20% of Republicans supported this. I don't even think it was 20% of Republicans. But members of Congress, including among the president's own party, including hardliners like Marjorie Taylor Greene, Steve Bannon, who was a longtime Trump supporter, Charlie Kirk, who's a notable right-wing commentator, all of them did not want to do this, and they are part of the growing sort of MAGA isolationist group. Obviously, there were some hawks like Ted Cruz, Lindsey Graham, more neocon interventionalists who wanted these strikes to go ahead. But overall, in terms of the broad consensus amongst American people, is that this was not a good idea and that they did not want this. But now I want to really quick kind of talk about the war itself. So the first thing is that it's kind of unclear what Israel's war aims are. Initially, they said it was to prevent Iran from getting a nuclear weapon, but that is unclear if Iran was actually close to getting a nuclear weapon. For the last 30 years, there's always been a report that Iran is 4 months away from getting a nuke. Iran is 5 years away from getting a nuke. I saw a story in the Washington Post, or maybe it was the New York Times, from the 90s, that Iran is 5 years away from having a nuclear warhead. So it's been a bit of a kind of back and forth as to how close Iran is to actually getting a nuclear warhead. I see this as more of Israel saw this as their best chance to go in against Iran, given that Iran's proxy allies, Hezbollah, Hamas, they're basically down for the count after their conflicts with Israel. The allies in Yemen, they can't really do much against Israel. Their weapons are not great against Israel's more modern interceptors. So they probably saw this as their best opportunity. But then there was also reports that President Trump nixed an idea by Benjamin Netanyahu to assassinate the supreme leader of Iran. So it now seems like Israel wants to do a regime change within Iran. So now that the U.S. has joined the war, that might be something that the U.S. government possibly helps facilitate if they go full in, which is unclear at this time. It's kind of unclear how this will unfold, to what extent the U.S. will participate in this war, if this was the maximum that we were willing to do. But I guess we'll just have to wait and see what shape this war takes here. But here's the thing. I do not think a regime change is a good idea, and I'm going to tell you why. First of all, I'd like to stress a lot, I do not like the government of Iran. They have done brutal crackdowns against their own people, especially women. They have funded terror groups across the Middle East. Their high-ranking officials have chanted death to America. They are not a good government, obviously. But here's the thing. As we have seen so many times before, when you move one piece of the puzzle in the Middle East, then a bunch of different side effects will happen. I mean, we saw this in Iraq with the toppling of Saddam Hussein. That led to the creation of ISIS. That led to the destabilization of Iraq, which led to us fighting there for almost 10 years. So you cannot have a clean government overthrow anywhere, especially the Middle East, because as we have seen in Libya, in Iraq, in Afghanistan, and in countless other places, when the U.S. tries to come in and facilitate a coup or a government overthrow, it usually does not go well. And whether that is via our direct military involvement or our support of the cousters or something like that, it does not go well, and the country usually falls into chaos. And this is not like it's like 20 million people. Iran is a country with a population of around 90 million people. They are a very large nation with a very large military arsenal that could fall into the hands of groups possibly even worse than Iran. I mean, if an Islamist jihad group got their hands on some of the weapons Iran has, I mean, who knows what could happen, because unlike a nation state, a terrorist organization probably would not care about the retaliation that might be inflicted if they were to use a pretty devastating weapon. So, I mean, that's just one potential risk there. But, I mean, it's not a good idea to overthrow the government, especially in the Middle East. We've seen that time again. But one last thing, though, before we go, a question that one of my relatives asked me was, can President Trump do this without congressional approval? So here's the thing about what he did and kind of conflict when it comes to Congress. So the War Powers Act basically says that a president cannot deploy troops for more than 60 days without congressional approval. The Constitution does not say anything about targeted strikes. In previous administrations, presidents have argued that they do not need congressional approval for targeted strikes, citing various things like their duty as commander-in-chief and also the AUMFs, the authorization of military force that Congress passed shortly after 9/11, and then also again before Iraq, as a result of Iraq. And so the Trump administration most likely will point to this. When it comes to targeted strikes in the Middle East, it's a bit of a gray area given the various things involved. But my guess is that he is most likely allowed to do this. I can't imagine that they would do this without congressional approval. I mean, I'm sure there are legally gray aspects to what they did, but it's most likely legal. But I mean, if he wants to put troops on the ground for more than 60 days, which I'm not sure he will, it really depends on how this whole war kind of shapes up. But if he wants to do that for more than 60 days, he will need congressional approval because of the War Powers Act. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. Make sure to subscribe and press the notification bell to be notified whenever we post short-form breaking news updates like this one. Be sure to like the episode if you enjoyed it, and go over to Spotify or Apple Podcasts to follow the podcast. You can also follow it here on YouTube. And yeah, we will see you next time.